Hello, students. Today we are going to learn one of the most fascinating topics in biology, the discovery of cells, cell theory, size, and types. This chapter is very important because the cell is called the fundamental unit of life. So, let's begin our journey. Back in 1665, a scientist named Robert Hooke looked at a thin slice of cork under his microscope. He noticed small box-like structures and named them cells because they looked like little rooms. A few years later, in 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek improved the microscope and became the first person to observe living cells. Imagine how exciting that must have been to see life at such a tiny level for the very first time. In the year 1831, a botanist named Robert Brown made a groundbreaking discovery. He was the first to identify and describe the nucleus inside plant cells. The nucleus, as you know, is the control center of the cell, and this discovery laid the foundation for modern cell biology. A few years later, in 1839, another scientist, J. E. Purkinje, introduced the term protoplasm. He used it to describe the jelly-like substance inside the cell where all the vital life processes occur. This was a huge step forward in understanding the living content of cells. And then came Schleiden and Schwanner. Schleiden said plants are made of cells, Schwanner said animals are too. Together they proposed the classical cell theory. Finally, Rudolf Virchow added, omnis cellulae cellula, every cell comes from another cell. Ma'am, may I ask? Yes, go ahead. So who first saw a living cell? Good question. That was Leeuwenhoek, not Hooke. Hooke only saw dead cork cells. He observed living cells for the first time, bacteria, protozoa, sperm cells, red blood cells. He called them animalcules. Today, we are starting one of the most fundamental topics in biology, the cell, the basic unit of life. Now, what does modern cell theory tell us? All living organisms are made of cells. Cells come only from pre-existing cells. Cells carry genetic information, DNA. And all energy transformations happen inside cells. Let's also talk about size and shape. The smallest cell is mycoplasma, just 0.1 micrometer. The largest is the ostrich egg. The longest is the nerve cell, stretching up to a meter in large animals. And shape is always linked to function. Nerve cells are long and branched for carrying messages. Muscle cells are elongated for contraction. Finally, before we close part 1, let's compare prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes like bacteria have no true nucleus, no membrane-bound organelles. Prokaryotic and 70S ribosomes. Eukaryotes like plant and animal cells have a true nucleus, organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts. Eukaryotic 80S ribosomes, prokaryotic and 70S ribosomes. Eukaryotes like plant and animal cells have a true nucleus, organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts. So, in summary, part 1 gives us the discovery, the theory, cell size and shapes, and the big difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes.